Hello, hello,
Hello.
and welcome back to Adventure Showdeo, the spin-off of Adventure Brodeo, where we do a discussion of different shows in theory, but right now we're just testing it, so it's just Mashle. It's just Mashle episodes 1, 2, and 3
Hello,
so far,
hello.
Look, we
and
wanted to watch a cartoon and we needed to
welcome
justify
back to.
doing so. So here we are.
This is all just really a giant thing to get Steve to watch the cartoon. That's all it
Yeah,
was, ever.
that's fine.
One
Just
big hustle.
convince myself it's work. This is for science.
So,
Okay.
I have to say, I didn't really pick this robot for the psychopath tendencies. Um, but boy, his little natural frown and twitchy eyes, along with the blood splatter pattern, it paints a picture.
He's twitching a lot.
He
And
is,
now
and I
he's drunk too.
well, I added a baseball bat, but it looked a little bit uncool for YouTube. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's maybe
yeah, we couldn't
a
have
bit
that drifting in
intense.
and out of frame.
Quite on brand for Mashle. No stranger to extreme physical violence.
Yeah, it
Or
felt
extreme physical anything, really.
very true. So for those who don't know, I am Drew Hayes.
And I am Steve Wetherill.
And we are both authors on the Authors and Dragons podcast. I write books such as Superpowers, NPCs, Fred the Vampire Accountant, and the Villains Code series, the latest entry, Villains Vignettes, a sort of step between books 2 and 3 of 3 novellas, is available now in print and ebook and will be out next month in audiobook form. And you can meet the narrator of said book and series as a whole at Authors and Dragons Con, also next month. That is Amy Landon.
All sneaking up. Yeah, and I write books such as The Totally Legend of Brandon Firemaster. Quite relevant because maybe the closest matching character to Mashle in many ways. So if you like what you're seeing in this insane cartoon, do go check out the Brandon Firemaster series. It's a lot of muscles and magic and ridiculousness.
I mean, yeah, truly. I think we mentioned this last one, but the first time I saw um, an episode of Mashal, my initial instinct was, "Oh shit, Brandon Thighmaster would love that." It's like not even just Steve, like the concept character he has created would love that.
He would, yeah, he would. He would not be baffled by anything that Mashle does. It would all make perfect sense to him and in his world. Um, a reminder for those who are just starting to tune into this show, dear, what is the world of Mashle? It's basically Harry Potter if he decided magic was for nerds and just absolutely crushed some weights.
Bigotry and all.
Yeah, there's the familiar Hogwarts bigotry. Yeah, if you're not magic in this world of not Hogwarts, forget what it's called, but for legal reasons, probably not Hogwarts, then they basically murder you as a baby. So stakes are high.
I I don't know if they murder you or they cast you out or something. Because I don't remember the specifics, but I know there's a character in the series later on who wants to take whatever they're doing a step further. And I feel like if they're killing them as babies, there's not a lot of
Take them
room to
into
grow on that one.
I don't know, Drew. I mean, when Retro Mashel's guardian finds him as a baby, someone has just left that baby out in the middle of nowhere. I'm not a
Yeah.
legal expert, but that is probably a good way to kill a baby.
Yeah, I guess maybe apathy is more the assumed. It's like what happens happens. But it's not a
I didn't
targeted
kill the
campaign.
child. Indifference did.
Yeah, God killed that baby when he made it.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh,
Well, yeah, we certainly brought that to a depressing place, but that is the world he's living in. He's got to, I guess, become. Was it the distinct vision, the high visionary, the cool
divine
magic guy,
visionary.
divine visionary, in a world that is entirely run by magic, where he has none. He just has the power of being super athletic.
Yeah, I mean, balls to the wall strong. We talked about last time. We don't really know for sure if this is a thing that everybody could do and only Mashle tries, or if Mashle is special in some capacity. But the fact remains that he is a jock in a world of nerds.
Yes, maybe they could all be doing this if they weren't so lazy and weak. We'll find out as we go through, I guess.
Yeah. So we open on Mashle having to do his exam, his magical exam, because
Well,
oh, go ahead.
we're first introduced to Claude Lucy, which again is just, it seems like a white guy name generator, but Claude Lucy, who is, I think, is the Snape of this Harry Potter world. He's very impressed with himself. He's very he enjoys the power he has over students. And I immediately thought, because this is an anime and it's gonna prop up at some point, usually, probably a pedophile. I'm getting a very strong nonce vibe from this guy.
I don't know what
I'm
I was
prepared to be
expecting.
proved wrong.
I guess in fairness, this is a British boarding school.
Exactly.
And
It's
you
not
have
just an
expounded
anime.
many times
Yeah.
your opinions on British boarding schools. So
Exactly. It's not just an anime where some sort of paedophile joke is gonna crop up. I don't care how wholesome it is otherwise. It's practically mandatory, but this is also an anime about a British boarding school. So yeah, I don't have high hopes for Claude Lucy.
wow, I get, he's a real prick in the show, but suddenly not nearly as bad as he could have been.
Yeah, well, I'm calling it, Drew. Check that man's hard drive.
I mean, if it was going to be anyone, I feel like the turn of not Dumbledore would be more of a twist.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're not
We are.
Dumbledore yet. I really enjoyed. I was kind of. I think we speculated last time. Would Mashle just solve all of his problems with brute strength and extreme intimidation? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I was not disappointed by this episode at all.
I mean, there's a lot of fun moments. The lifting the stone with the thumb. The what do you call it? The oh man, I can't remember the smaller one, but the one that stuck out to me the most that I loved was the magical writing test that he had to take, where everyone's trying to like make all the letters and stuff are enchanted to move around as squiggles. And Mashle's selection is first to ask nicely, and then to shatter the pen above the page and ask nicely again.
And it works. That's the thing about this world. Everyone's got magic, but everybody is still susceptible to getting the shit kicked out of them by this maniac. Like everybody knows what side of the bread is buttered on.
Yeah, that paper made a very real-time assessment of whether it cared enough or not, and it made a choice.
Well, I'm not dying today. It's supposed to be a test.
Yeah,
but
it's like, how much do I give a shit?
It raises some points about Mashle to me, because he's a very kind of low-key, kind of calm dude. He's that kind of anime hero. He seems to be very aware of what he is. It's like the episode starts with Claude Lucy doing a monologue about, yes, the students come from all over the world to partake in this extremely difficult, challenging test, and only 3% of them will go. Is that guy doing the invisible chair while reading a bodybuilder magazine? That's exactly what he's doing. And I don't know if he's
at least read a magic book.
Yeah, he's not even reading a magic book. I don't know if he's purposely trying to annoy everyone, or just he's got that kind of Goku wholesomeness to him, but I still haven't worked that out.
I honestly had a thought when I was watching Mashle this time. It didn't occur to me the first time. I kind of just took a lot of his behavior as classic anime tropes, but watching it this round, I was struck. I was like, is there any chance they wrote this character to intentionally be neurodivergent? Because some of his behaviors, like the taking everything completely literally,
Yeah,
like calling out the efficiency issues of like the test thing, the absolute sense of like right and wrong. Like, yeah, I was like, you could make a case for it. I don't know that it was intentional. It's like the Fred from Mystery Inc. thing, but it he functions within that range well enough that it's interesting because he's consistent. You know, you get a sense that Mashle is always acting with intent, even if that intent feels obscured.
that's true. And there are instances throughout these episodes that kind of back that up a little bit. We'll get into them. Um, the second test is the maze. This episode is called Mash Burnstead and the Mysterious Maze. There is no mystery in this maze for Mashle at all. He's very straightforward. He does meet a new character, um, Lemon Irvine,
I forgot her last name was Irvine. Yes.
who was trapped in a maze with him and just immediately runs into every single trap that the maze has. Mashle eventually this clearly incompetent student is slowing me down. I'll leave her. Then up pops the Sphinx from the famous Riddler, the Sphinx, about to destroy this woman
Now
for not
we
having
do
the riddle answer.
we do also find out something about Lemon right before the Sphinx attacks, and that is that she has been
That's
fucking
true, yeah.
up on purpose. I don't know if we get the exact reason quite yet, but we find out that Lemon was intentionally slowing Mashle down.
Yeah.
Oh, surprise cat. Uh, for the quick viewers.
Ignore it.
Uh, so she was intentionally slowing him down to hurt his chances of passing, and when she's about to get cut down by the Sphinx, kind of feels so bad about what she did that she doesn't even call for help.
Yeah. And that would be Claude Lucy grooming a child to do something not within the realms of morality. So again, I got to put another little mark on the chalkboard there for Claude. But yeah, the mighty Sphinx comes with its riddle. It looks like Lemon is doomed until Mashle just John Wayne's him straight in the jaw.
I also love the way he answers the Sphinx's riddle, because it's the classic what walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening. Which I think we've all heard into the goddamn ground at this point.
Pokemon.
And
So
Mashle's
already into that.
response is to punch the Sphinx in the jaw and yell, "Such a creature couldn't possibly exist."
Again, very Brandon Finester.
He's got a real do no harm but take no shit energy going on.
Yes, that's true. And he certainly he does not. It's wonderful about a character. He has no truck with magic whatsoever. He doesn't just not have magic. He thinks it's dumb. Even though he's talking to like a 15-foot tall Sphinx.
I mean, but a
That's stupid, man.
15-foot tall Sphinx that couldn't even take one punch.
Yeah, well, from Mashle.
Right, but from Mashle's perspective, just not that interesting about that weak of a phoenix.
Like, I've got a riddle for you, man. Do you even lift? Yeah, I was very impressed with that.
They could have just had him punch that out. They didn't have to add that. That was a nice touch. Just fuck your stupid bullshit.
If his battle cry was just "fuck magic," yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be worried. That's very close to a thing I have in a book coming out.
But I will not say that's the most Mashle part of these tests, though. To me, it was how he escaped the maze. Because, he just basically picks up Lemon and punches his way through the walls, which is kind of like, yeah, you can see that coming. But when you see the walls, there are certain walls he's punched. If he had just moved a couple of feet to the left, he could have just went round. And yet he's just punched a direct as the crow flies line out of the maze. And yeah, wonderfully straightforward.
Yeah, I forgot about the ones where he very clearly it was much slower, you would think, but no.
Yeah, any doubts I had that Mashle would abandon his very straightforward approach to winning the day, and the very straightforward conceit of the entire show is I don't think he's going to evolve from it. I think the challenge for the show is going to be how can he subvert everything we try to do in this world of magic in the most humorously blunt way possible. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Well, and I think that the end of this episode, which we'll get to with not Dumbledore, hints that there is room for Mashle to grow, even as incredible as he is. I bet we do see that in the series. My assumption is he just will grow through learning physical techniques.
Yeah, he'll just get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, like if I just work out harder, I can do this. Like, I definitely think we'll see Mashle level up. I just don't think it'll be with magic.
Be sitting there going, I can give even less of a shit about magic if I just believe in myself.
But yeah, we were at the part where Mashle has punched his way out of the maze. Lemon admits that the professor groomed her into assisting, and the professor's like, well, what the fuck are you gonna do about it?
He is not apologetic at all. He says, just starts laying into her. What's he say? Is stupidity inherited from your parents?
Oh god!
No wonder you have a miserable life. Oh man, it's not a good teacher.
No, he is not.
Or a great one. Who knows? I might be proved wrong.
And so he challenges them. He says, "If you have a problem with it, come at me, bro. More or less. What are you gonna do?" And Mashle, again, showing he does have a talent for, I guess, finding the most efficient way to fix a problem. Much like the labyrinth, he just grabs the guy's wand and shatters it.
Yeah.
Which, from the way everyone looks on, feels like, I guess that's this society's equivalent of a surprise kick to the penis.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it'd be like if you're in the Old West and a gun duel at high noon, and you just grab his gun and throw it away. And just not only does it win the duel, it makes everyone look stupid. It should be noted that Retro and Brad, the infiltrating spy from the Bureau of Magic, are both watching in on this. I'm going to call it. I reckon Brad's going to be a redeemed villain of this series.
Yeah, they're setting up him and the dad in a real buddy comedy angle.
Yeah, I think Mashle has inherited an evil uncle. Some kind of Vegeta scenario. I don't know. We'll see.
I did love it was Brad. Brad is the bad guy with Retro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like when they're early on, Brad's like, trust me, this is definitely going to work. I've got a plan. And then as soon as they get like the test papers with the squirming letters, Brad's immediately like, why did I think this would work?
Yeah. As soon as he gets one magical challenge, it's like, oh yeah, shit, he can't do magic.
This is a dumb fucking plan. But I will say, in watching this one, I think they did this really well, and more than I appreciated, because the cutting off that fight in that way, not only is it a very funny, cool Mashle moment, but it sort of, to think of it in wrestling terms, it protects the teacher. Because we haven't seen the teacher get his ass kicked, like, full on with Magic versus Mashle. Mashle pulled a quick move that ended the fight very effectively and was impressive, but you also don't get the sense that you've seen everything that Lucio has to throw. So it was really good. It made it seem smart, but it didn't establish that Mashle's so strong he can kick the shit out of a professor, which is pretty important for the rest of the series.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to burn your bad guys too soon.
Well, also, if he's supposed to be going up against students for the rest, like, for, interacting with and competing with other students, if he's already so strong that he can squash the professors without effort, that it's hard to build any stakes there.
That's true. But I've seen animes where there are no stakes and it still works. It seems to be something it can be done.
Oh, it can be. But the way this one likes to go fucking heavy on you.
Yeah.
Speaking
Well, that's
of,
the kind of yeah. In the next challenge, it does get a bit heavy. Not Dumbledore, the headmaster, who's very legally close to Dumbledore. I guess Mashle gets pulled up against on the council of witches that definitely didn't feature in the Harry Potter film, and Dumbledore lays down a challenge. I kind of get the impression at this point in the cartoon that Dumbledore is supposed to be a kind of neutral figure. He immediately summons the most horrifying demon we've seen so far, who used some kind of press torture device. Fair enough on a doll. Is it unbeknownst to Mashle? He has taken the soul of his nearest loved one and put it in this doll. So
oh no, it is beknownst. He tells Mashle that's why Mashle gives a shit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like, oh, as a little test, I will have this hideous demon crush the soul of your loved one, which seems a tad extreme. Maybe.
Well, the context of it was, what will you do when your overpowering strength isn't enough? You think the point was trying to put him in a hopeless situation to see what his reaction would be. And Mashle's reaction is to sprint forward, slam his hands below the blade, impaling himself on him, and pointing out that it's got to take a lot of mana to hold that thing out, so now this is an endurance contest.
Yeah. It's basically... I think this is going to be a recurring theme. They just say, well, what are you going to do when physical strength isn't enough? And Mashle is going to say, well, physical strength,
yeah.
But more so.
Have you tried more physical strength?
If physical strength isn't enough, you're not doing it correctly.
I mean, yeah, Mashle, what will you do if physical strength isn't enough? Try.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to, and again, maybe it's the neurodivergency thing, or maybe it's just his I don't give a shit attitude, but he does seem almost baffled that anyone would think that physical strength isn't enough.
That said, given his level of physical strength, I get that opinion.
yeah, he's got that going on for him. Yeah, I could understand how his worldview might be somewhat skewed.
If we were as strong as Mashle, I don't think we would see that strength couldn't solve many problems.
No, I'd never think about anything again.
Except which way the door goes.
Yeah. I'd leave that to muscle memory. It seems to work for him. Yeah, so he beats the test. He confounds not Dumbledore. I do like his last line to him. Dumbledore is kind of like, oh, what would you have done if it carried on? He's like, I would have just beat the shit out of you. And then, surprisingly, not Dumbledore's like, ha, kid, I like your style. And not, ha, security, get this psycho out of my school.
I mean, he's a guy who dropped a giant soul-killing murder machine as a test. This guy is, not Dumbledore, is keeping up the tradition of giving no fucks.
Yes. That's true. He does have that in common with his legally distinct counterpart.
And so...
that's pretty much the end of it, but we meet... this contains one of my favourite lines. We have a little kind of wrap-up session where Mashle, he's allowed into school, he's joining the classes. His first class is on magically unpicking a lock. He just crushes the lock. People are not happy with him. The teacher just starts yelling at him, saying, like, you're supposed to be here to learn magic, and the things you can't do with magic, with muscle. And Finn Amis, who is, I think, destined to be the reluctant best friend, is kind of listening in on this and doing a little monologue about how weird this new student is. And then his monologue is interrupted by Mashle saying, God is dead, to this teacher. I don't even know where it came from because you don't really hear the monologue. But Mashle, whatever she was saying to him, Mashle was just like, yes, but God is dead. And possibly I killed him.
Do we find out? I mean, we can pretty much transition from this one to the next episode because we find out that Finn is indeed going to be Mashle's roommate, much to his chagrin.
The last scene is Finn walking to his room going, "Man, I hope that door smashing weirdo isn't my roommate." Like, wait, where's my fucking door gone? And Mashle's like, "Surprise, want to watch me name my muscles?" So yeah, Finn is doomed now to be Mashle's best friend.
Yeah, the minute he started introducing his muscles by name, I was like, God, this truly was a show made for Brandon Thighmaster.
Yeah, episode 3, Mash Burnstead and the Baleful Bully. Yeah, this is where we do learn a little bit about what kind of friend Mash is. He's continuing his quest to be the divine visionary. It's funny, the narrator's saying all this, like Mash Burnstead, born without magic, on his quest to be a divine visionary. And the narrator calls out Mash for not listening because Mash is just eating cream puffs. And he's right, he's like, yeah, I wasn't listening. I don't care. Yeah, this was a weird one because he needs to borrow Finn's broom.
Because he bought a burdock root.
Yeah, he just bought the nearest thing that he thought looked like a broom. I don't know if that's just to illustrate how little he actually cares about magic.
It could have been an understanding thing or a lack of caring thing, but yeah, it definitely. Mashle does not give a shit about magic. That becomes clearer and clearer.
Yeah.
Maybe it is like an intentional disrespect thing. Like you say, it's like I don't give a shit. Fucking, this is a broom, right?
Did you bring your broom? Well, no. I bought the nearest thing I had to hand that looked like a broom.
It's as good. It's as good, right? It's the same.
It'd be fine. Well, given his performance in making do with what he has in a world of magic, the broom illustration turns out to be pretty good. Because again, he's with the frustrated teacher. They're all learning to make their brooms float so they can ride on them, like other magical franchises. Of course, Mashle can't make broom fly because he has no magic.
I love that even he forgets that sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like, ew, he tries.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So some kind of what we think is going to be the bully comes along. He's got bully minion written all over him now, so the true bully reveal isn't really a reveal. But this minion give him a hard time, saying he can't make his broom float. The Mashle just stomps his foot, and the shockwave sends the broom into his hands. He's like, "See, it floated." And the thing, the minion says, "Well, that's cheating," and Mashle looks genuinely confused. He's like, "What do you want? I made the broom float."
He's kind of right.
Yeah, he is. It's like, you didn't use magic. Well, what is magic? Go on, then explain it to me.
Yeah. You could definitely argue that Mashle has crossed into magic with many of his feats.
Yeah. He's just magically ripped.
Oh.
He challenges to a broom race, and again, the same thing. We don't see him doing it because he does it so fast. But he throws the broom like a javelin and then jumps onto it. And he's flying on a broom. I don't care. You wanted an outcome, and that's what happened.
Yeah. I think we get to see it in slow-mo because Finn actually saw what happened.
Yeah, he was looking for it.
Yeah, he knew some shit was about to go up.
Just thought he won the race, but and he did win the race.
Oh, he won the shit out of the race. Yeah, he wins so fast that no one registers the movement. It's just a blur of dust and Mashle standing at the other end.
Here's the thing about this cartoon. If magic is only like describable by its results, which by necessity it must, because if you could explain magic, you'd be able to do magic, and no one can. And yeah, they're basically saying, well, you use magic to make the broom fly. It's like, well, I made the broom fly. I rode the broom. Boom, magic, done.
The broom moved through the air at high velocities, and I rode upon it.
Yeah.
This anime is almost a lesson in technically correct. The best kind of correct.
only kind of correct. Yeah. Well, when it comes to winning the race, I mean, he technically won the race, so
Yeah.
you can keep your.
I mean, he also just won the race. He said, "We're gonna
Yeah, he
race
won the
with
race.
brooms." Mashle raced with a broom.
You could say it's about taking part all you want, but technically, Mashle won that race, and yeah, the bully's not happy about it. It's when the bully prime comes over. It's immediately the bully prime. Lloyd Cavill again, just random English name generator. Definitely this world's Malfoy. Comes along offering smiles and friendship. It's obviously a trap, but I don't think Mashle kind of has any inclination to think that he's dealing with someone powerful. Oh, I don't know actually, because later on he's talking to Finn and he says, "Oh, I noticed everyone was scared of that guy." So he does seem to kind of notice things in the brief times he's not shoving cream puffs into his face or lifting weights. But
well, I think it does go back to what you said. Like, does he understand that the guy is powerful? Because he specifically asked, "Why is everybody scared of that guy?" But I definitely do not think Mash thought he was scary.
Yeah. Well, he definitely did not understand the thing. It's like, why was everybody scared of that guy? I didn't see him lift a single weight.
Yeah.
Or punch a single demon.
Did they not see his calves? They were so small.
I suppose this is when we're introduced to kind of a new threat to Mashle, which is social political power of not Hogwarts. Not just the magic he's got to worry about. It's Machiavellian chicanery of those who are connected and those who are higher in the social ranking.
That's Lloyd's father works at the Bureau of Magic, and the Bureau of Magic is basically the king of this world, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, the High Visionaries all... whatever they're called, Divine Visionaries. Divine Visionaries.
The blazed up visionary.
Primo visionary dudes. They all go on to work there. They become the ruling elites. They end up putting babies into the street who aren't magic enough.
Yeah.
So ostensibly, Cavill kind of reaches out to Mashle and says, "Hey, let's be friends. I can put in a good word for you. All you've got to do is carry my shit and shine my shoes and be my lackey." Mashle, who is here for a very specific reason, if he doesn't do this, his granddad and him are probably going to be hounded out of the kingdom. He does all this without complaint at all, even when his textbooks keep getting torn up. And so we know that he's having the piss taken out of him. Mashle either doesn't, though, or doesn't care.
It definitely seems he plays it as if he does not notice. It is debatable if it's more that he is simply refusing to acknowledge it, because I don't know. There's a thread in this where they refer to him as Dim, but Mashle seems to pick up on a lot of shit.
There is a point where Cavill just pours a glass of water on the floor and it's like, "Hey, why don't you clean it up?" And we think, "Oh, he's humiliating." But Mashle is cleaning it up, and he cleans it up so well it's shining, and he's satisfied with his job. I don't know if he's just his self-esteem is so rock solid, he just does not care. It's carry my books. It's yeah, I can bench the moon. This does not affect my self-worth.
For those who have not followed all of the Authors and Dragons at the Movie stuff, we have an award we give out sometimes on a movie called the Jeremy Irons Shit Sandwich Award. And it sounds derogatory, but it's actually pretty positive. We named it after seeing his performance in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, in which he crushes it. I mean, he's fucking going all out. He came to work, and he goddamn did. And I can't remember how, but we likened it to as if you had shit in a sandwich and handed it to him, as a prank, and he ate the whole thing without breaking eye contact with you. Like, just complete power move reversal, and that's kind of what that reminds me of with the shining of the shoes. It's just like all right, we'll clean this up. All right, I'm gonna clean this up and show you how pathetic you are.
It could be as far as that, yeah. Or it could be, again, just another system that Mashle does not give a shit about. He's just going to succeed in it because he has to succeed in it.
That very well could be it too.
We do have kind of like his moment of getting to be Finn's friend, because Finn's kind of trying to distance from himself, but Mashle's textbooks keep on getting torn up, so he just says to Finn, "Oh, can I see your textbook?" And Finn says, "No." And Mashle just like sits next to him and goes, "Yeah, thanks, you're a really great friend. Here's some cream puffs. I'm going to look at your textbook." Finn's either like, I think he's both obviously terrified because he's seen what this guy can do. But we later learn that he's obviously a bit ashamed as well because he's distancing himself from a reason.
Dun dun dun.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, Cavill. Well, we probably guessed it. Cavill's being a prick. He's putting pressure on Finn to fuck with Mashle. And we hear this confession, and Finn just says, like, he's a nice guy. He didn't tear my arms off when I said he couldn't read my textbook, and he gave me some cream puffs. I'm refusing to fuck with him anymore. Cavill just starts legitimately fucking him up, pinning him down with magic and beating the crap out of him. Mashle sees this, asks what's going on, and breaks down, has a very emotional moment of shame while he apologizes to Mashle. At this point, I don't know if Cavill is very dumb or very arrogant or some mixture of both, because he's definitely been found out. Mashle now knows that Cavill's been tearing up his textbooks and is beating the crap out of his friend. And he just starts talking about the kind of like inevitability of the system, and I'll take you to meet the vice principal, and I'll put in a good word for you. Like, he still has power.
Well, I do think it's probably relevant that while Finn realized what Mashle was doing earlier, no one else did. At this point, I don't think anybody outside of Finn is fully aware of just how insanely strong, like who they're fucking with. And
he
also
does find out very quickly.
Yeah, and this guy has also been insulated from consequences his entire life. We get a backstory from Finn, who went to like middle school with Lloyd. Like, if you crossed him or stood up, they would get you expelled. So he has never had a problem that wouldn't be backed down or cast away. And so it feels very believable that he is, so cocky, especially not knowing who he's mouthing off to.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has grabbed him by the hair and smashed his face into the concrete before. He looks surprised when it happens to him.
Well, he looks unconscious.
Wait.
as we all would be, if not dead. Probably dead.
Yeah, probably dead. If it's possible to look both surprised and unconscious, I think Cavill does it very well.
He masters that one, yeah.
Yeah. And again, we kind of get... He was kind of doing this speech like, the way this is going to work out, and there's nothing you can do. And Mashle's like, accept this, and smashes his face. But then the vice principal, who's kind of Cavill's ward, comes along and starts doing the exact same thing. Like, oh yeah, you may think you can get by with violence, but I have political power, and I'm going to expel you. And Mashle just punches him in the face.
Oh yeah, he jams a knee into the guy's nose.
The guy still doesn't get the message. He's like, I'm going to expel you for kneeing me in the nose. So Mashle, this is like, it's some cold-ass Tarantino shit.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. The guy gets dirt flung on his face and turns to find Mashle digging a hole.
He's literally digging his grave in front of him with his bare hands.
He jams the fucking guy into it onto his neck.
Yeah, that's like what he did. It's like, yeah, you can't expel me. I can bury you alive whenever I want.
He doesn't say alive.
Asking, I can bury you. That's true.
Yeah, that I thought that the first time, and then I rewatched it. I was like, oh no, he does not say a lie. It's like, just like you can expel me at any time, I can bury you at any time. And then he proceeds to bury the guy past his face.
Again, it is fitting with everything he's done. It's like everything he comes up across. Like, I see you have this system. It doesn't account for the fact that I can murder you with my bare hands whenever I want.
Yep. It's a very fun reminder of like there's a lot of different forms of power, but power often wins.
Yeah. So obviously he's dragged up to see the headmaster after this. You would be. It's kind of like not Dumbledore saying, "Do you know why you're here?" He's like, "Well, is it because I made cream puffs without permission, or because I buried that teacher in a hole?" It's definitely the second one. It's burying the teacher in a hole. So the Bureau of Magic is calling for Mashle's expulsion. Kind of understandable, maybe. But not Dumbledore now seems to be, again, a little bit anti-status quo. I don't know if this is kind of him pulling an actual Dumbledore and realizing he can use this kid to kind of further his own ends, or if he just thinks that Mashle should have the chance to kind of destroy everything on his own terms. But there was a point where it's like he said, after reading his letter, "We had no choice but to expel you, except," and I legitimately thought not Dumbledore was going to say, "except we talked about it and we all thought it was really funny." But no, I think he says like you should not expel, people who care for caring or something like that. And Mashle does care. He does seem, whatever kind of I guess odd approach he has to the world, his heart is in the right place.
Yeah, I do like the line not Dumbledore gives. What's more unforgivable than what you did is a world where the caring are at a disadvantage.
Yeah. So it seems that Mashle has an ally in the corridors of power, which is good. But then non-Dumbledore starts explaining to him how he's going to have to become the Divine Visionary and all the little house points and coins he'll do. And again, Mashle just zones out. I've got to admit, I zoned out a little bit.
I feel like right at the point where I was starting to glaze over, that's when they popped in. They timed that one well.
Yeah. Well, I was like, yeah, I wasn't listening. I really don't care.
I feel like there's two interpretations of not Dumbledore right now. Either there's the benevolent one where he genuinely believes that MASH can make the world a better place, or he's just a chaos goblin and he recognizes that this is the equivalent of throwing a lit string of black cats into a dog show, and he's just like, this is going to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, either way,
yeah,
it's correct.
Just like, oh man, imagine the shit this guy's gonna stir.
What we know now is that Mashle can threaten to murder a teacher with impunity, providing the teacher deserves it. So as long as he's kind of, not just doing it because he hasn't done his homework or something, he can use his special power of implied murder.
Implied.
Which puts the ball firmly in his court, I believe.
Sets him on a strong standing for his school year.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, he's allowed to murder us? It's like, yeah, but you could do magic.
You can try to murder him back. Good luck. I wouldn't. I would not do that.
I think he might be right about magic sucking. I don't know.
Anyway, I gotta go hit the gym. Yeah. No.
By the end of the year, just all the students are lifting weights. Cause he's right. Just magic is bullshit.
That would be a twist. I'd like that.
The upshot of the encounter is Mashle seems to be getting a little bit more of a reputation for himself in wizard society. He makes fun with Tom Knowles, the most generic name so far.
And that's
Like the wizard version of a jock.
Oh, I forgot that's how we end, is the not Quidditch game.
They take him to play not Quidditch. He's like, I can't ride a broom. This guy, this Tom guy, just speaks entirely in positive affirmation slogans. Just screaming at them. But no, that's not enough because he can't actually fly a broom. He is just he ends this episode just sitting on the floor while everybody plays not Quidditch with the crowd throwing things at him. Which is a bit anticlimactic, but
they like to lead with a little hook in for the next.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Do we have any closing thoughts for episodes 2 and 3? We forgot to touch on it, but we do learn after Mashle has saved her that Lemon is also kind of a weirdo.
Oh yeah, that's right. Again, that does happen in anime quite a lot. Just the sort of weirdly obsessive, I guess, anti-love interest, a woman who can't take a hint, sort of thing.
I feel like it's more often like a Sanji from One Piece thing, but we definitely get the female version with Lemon having decided that Mashle is her beau, and not expressing it in the most emotionally healthy way.
No, very little emotional health going on there, but I'm sure she has some horrible reasons. But we'll find out. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I guess he's going to get his cruise soon, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing how that sort of plays out. Because it's like, again, One Punch Man. He's got his crew. He doesn't really need them, but it's nice to have them around.
You got to have a B team so that they can be someone to swoop in and save.
Yeah, that's true. You got to have a Krillin.
You gotta have a Krillin.
Just to stand there while you be Goku. It's for scale. It's like when people put a banana next to thing in photos.
Krillin
That's
for
what
scale.
Krillin does. Yeah.
I started on Dragon Ball Z, and it wasn't until I watched Dragon Ball later on when I was an adult and I had like access to it, and I was so fucking baffled. I was like, Krillin was his rival?
It's like, wait, Yamcha beat him in a fight? Yamcha?
Yeah, like the Krillin fight, I was like, the disrespect this character got in Z. My God.
I think everybody who was kind of like on tier adventure character in Dragon Ball, as soon as Dragon Ball Z, they just spent all their time sort of being quietly aghast about how they were about to die, which is what Krillin's good at.
Yeah, he's got a talent. All right, everybody.
Someone to yell, "Oh no!"
It's over that
really
number. No. I know 9,000 is the classic, but it goes a lot higher than that. All right, that has been Mashle episodes 2 and 3. Thank you for joining us for Adventure Showdeo episode 2. Probably could have strung that phrasing all together in a less confusing way, but hey, fuck it, here we are. Thank you all.
Done now.
Hope you all have enjoyed our format test pilot as we are traveling a lot through June. There might be more of it to come in August because I have 2 cons in August, so I might have to miss more shit. We'll see. But one of them is Authors and Dragons Con, so hopefully you all will be out there with us in Portland, August 11th to 13th. Get your tickets now while you can, because, I mean, holy shit, not much time left at this point.
Yeah.
I put up the schedule on our Discord yesterday. It's going to go on our website fairly soon here, too.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that. It's going to be fun. Buy tickets.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time. Until then, bye.
Bye.